Hey, how's it
Murph,
going?
not so bad.
Yeah,
How
I'm all
are
right,
you?
thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, hanging in there. Is it, or are we in LA right now? Is
In
this your
LA, yeah.
spot?
Um, yeah, this is my kind of downstairs living room area. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it feels kind of odd to get any sort of interview started without first asking how you've been holding up for the past like couple of months in these weird times.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy because I have like a 1-year-old daughter and like two dogs. One of them had to have surgery, and it's just been really hectic. Like I'm busier than I would have been without all of this stuff. But in terms of like mental health, I've had had a couple of pretty fucking weird days, but the rest has been fine. Just been keeping myself busy and um, enjoying time with my daughter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Congratulations. She's probably around one right now, correct?
One, yeah, one in like next week.
Man, nice. Well, congratulations on that. Celebrating not only the 1 year birthday of your daughter, but also the 1 year anniversary of your band,
Oh yeah,
Love, Fame,
yes,
Tragedy.
yeah.
That was a year ago. Congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
as well.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I didn't even know. Someone
I do
told
want
me.
to, yeah. Well, I do want to get talking about all that here in a few. Are you gonna play some
Yeah, I've
songs
got a
with us
guitar
today?
here.
Cool. Do you want to start with one and then we'll go from there?
Can you see and hear me and everything is fine? Beautiful.
Yes. Sounds good to me.
All right, this song's called Hardcore. You're destructive. I need insurance for you. When all of my moods fall short, tell me what else I can do. You're deceptive. A pyramid scheme. Some profits trickle down, but you don't let them trickle down to me. Ooh, you're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band. I feel you drilling down to my core. When no other girl can. I wanna write some songs with words that fit, sell some t-shirts to the kids. Yeah, you make me believe that I can. You're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band. You're a bad trip. No shame and would approve. And I'd walk that plank and dive off of that plank led to you. Ooh, you're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band. I feel you drilling down to my core. When no other girls can. I just wanna sing about my feelings. The sweat pours from the ceiling. Yeah, you make me believe that I can. You're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band. Tell me, do you want more? Or do I have to watch you float away? Tell me, do you want more? You're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band. I feel you drilling down to my core. When no other girls can. I wanna write some songs with words that fit, sell some t-shirts to the kids. Yeah, you make me believe that I can. You're so hardcore. Make me wanna start a band.
Amazing. Love, Fame, Tragedy, Murph. Thank you again for being here. I hope everybody is clapping at home.
I can hear it.
Feels a little odd to, man. Well, thanks again for joining us here.
Of course.
We are awaiting some new music from you, we hope. I've heard that 8 months ago in an interview, you said that you had 30 songs written for Love, Fame, Tragedy, just kind of sitting in the bag.
Yeah.
Is that number still accurate now? Have you been writing a little bit, like, while we're all kind of stuck at home?
Yeah, but the album was, we recorded the last 8 songs in January. So the album's done and it's all kind of ready to go. I believe it's going to be the first week in July. So the past, like 2 months, I've been working with a view for the Wombats, but the Love, Fame, Tragedy stuff is all done and ready to kind of make its weird little way into the world.
Man, that is great. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. The new Love, Fame, Tragedy record. But I must mention, I'm sure everybody that's here watching right now is already aware, but I want to make it explicitly clear. These aren't your first 2 releases, of course, with your work with the Wombats. I understand that Love, Fame, Tragedy was started so that you have like more creative control over everything that you're putting out. Is that accurate to say?
It wasn't like creative control. It was just kind of circumventing the politics of being in a band for 15 years. And the good politics to have, I think, like every band needs them. But, you know, I just wanted to do something that was more collaborative, start a new band, get friends and people that I think are cool in the studio to play on the songs that I'd written. And, you know, that's something that we don't really do in Wombats world. And if we did, it'd be like 20 emails back and forth. And then, so yeah, and I guess I always flirted with the idea of doing kind of a more solo project or starting something different. And I guess I felt like now was the time.
Yeah, I like that you hesitate to call it like a super group. I've seen you liken it to like a sort of guerrillas thing. But how is the songwriting process? I imagine it's much different when you're working with somebody like Joey Santiago of the Pixies or Gus from Alt J. A real star-studded cast
It wasn't
here.
too different because I wrote a song with Dan Smith from Bastille that was, you know, very different. But the rest, it was more like the songs were there and almost the production and the track was already finished. And then I'd get like Gus or Mark from the Killers to kind of come in and just do their thing on it. And it was pretty much to the point where I was like, can you just play all over this for 2 hours and me and the producer are just going to keep the best bits? And they were like, yeah, cool, that's fine. So that's kind of how that worked, which was a lot of fun. I don't know, it's just cool for me to hear like someone like Gus from Alt J like singing on, he's got such like a noticeable voice. It's cool to have him singing on a song that I'd written, and it just kind of makes it 10 times cooler in my head.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine what that must be like to hear coming in your shoes. You mentioned that song with Dan Smith of Bastille. I want to shoehorn in a listener question that came in right before this. They want to know if we're going to get a recorded copy of that. We're going to get that as a single.
Multiply is out as a single right now, but it's featuring Jack Ritter, who's an amazing Australian artist. There is a version with Dan Smith on it, but it just turned into a whole shit show because they're out of cycle. They're like wanting to take a break. So maybe when they're ready, we'll release that. But it turned into so much of a shit show. I was just like, oh fuck it.
Yeah, you started this project together.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. All right, well, whatever's out next for me, I'm excited to hear it. Do you want to play another song? And
then yeah, sure. This one's, well, I'm playing 3 right, so I can do, I'll do Riding Away now. This one's a bit fiddly, so I'm going to stand a bit closer. Unless you really want to see the guitar. Fuck it, whatever. She likes program hi-hats and Fabergé eggs. She likes role models and men who are not afraid to step up to the plate. It'll work, it'll all be okay. She likes heavy weekends and chamomile tea. She likes me drunk, but not when I'm out of control and I'm lost in my head. Was it me, or was I just misled? Strap me in and send me nowhere. I can change. I can change. I'm just riding away. I'm riding away. I'll commit to the struggle. I'll commit if it's not too late. I can hunt, I can gather, I can be your mate. She likes X videos with her best friend. She likes it when I'm dark, but not when I'm really, really dark. It's okay, it won't tear us apart. Strap me in and send me nowhere. I can change. I can change. I'm just riding away. I'm riding away. I'm riding away. Out to a club behind the light. I'm riding away. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you once again, Murph of Love, Fame, Tragedy, joining us for the virtual big room. I know it's always kind of cliche to ask a band or artist about their name, but I'm fascinated about this one and where it comes from, named after the seminal Pablo Picasso exhibition at the Tate Modern. Did you go and you went and saw it in person, I imagine, and that's where that's
Yeah, I had a name for the project, which was actually called Fluffy Pets, and then at one point, like, the record label, like, suggested to me, like, I mean, it's Fluffy Pets, you know, maybe we should get away from all the kind of fluffy animals and stuff. And in the first instance, I was like, fuck no, no, we're going to stick with that. And then slowly over time, I kind of began to agree with it, and then I kind of went on this mad search for a new name for the project, and then ended up in the Tate London, seeing this amazing kind of exhibition called Love, Fame, Tragedy. I think the exhibition it was quite a rare one because it was all of Picasso's works of his, like, mistress that he was, like, having sex with, like, in the outskirts of Paris while his wife was in the center or whatever. And it just was really dark and interesting, and it kind of had this looping feeling to it, which I guess I was looking for. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
Oh.
Yeah.
The special guest joined by the dogs.
I'll show
That's
you.
Lovely.
Daisy.
Oh, yes.
You see her? Daisy, say hi.
Oh, what a good pup.
Say hi. Say hi. She's definitely not a good pup. She woke me up at like 5 a.m., then 6 a.m., then 7 a.m. She's...
Oh, man. Got a lot on your plate with the dogs and the child.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, talking about that Picasso exhibition, and I wanted to mention you're a bit of an art buff, I would say. I watched the video that just came out where they're walking through your house like MTV Cribs style. Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff up on the walls, but you only touched on a handful. There's the Murakami on the stairs, the portrait of yourself as a child in the bathroom, and then an uncredited gentleman with a raccoon photograph. But I want to see, is there like a favorite piece that you have in the house?
I do love my Murakami, but my wife doesn't really like it, so that's why it's kind of been relegated to the stairs. There's actually a fan in Lima, Peru, who makes these incredible things. So I got this the other day. I don't know. I think it's just called like Guy with Blue Hair or whatever. But
I like that a lot.
She, I got that from her, and then I do want to get some other stuff. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't describe the painting of me in Greece when I was like a moody 9-year-old as art, but I kind of put it there to freak out the guests who are staying, so that when they're on the toilet, they just see this moody face of me staring back at them.
They're like, we gotta get out of here. Well, if anybody wants to see more of that tour, it is on YouTube. I do appreciate the backdrop here. Having done like 7 or 8 of these on Instagram, it's still like kind of new territory, but that is a beautiful backdrop. You got a great space.
Thank you very much.
There's one more thing before we have you play another one and cut you loose. I always like to run everybody through a quick lightning round here at the end, just some rapid fire questions. Okay. Let's try and get in your head a little bit. Are you ready? Question number 1, I think I know the answer. Dogs or cats? Your dogs' names are Drake and Daisy. If there's a listener out there who just got a dog and hasn't named it yet, what should they name the dog? I like that, Alan. The guy, Matty Healy's dog's named Alan Ginsberg.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
That's good. You guys are on a wavelength there. A listener question for you. What is your favorite food to consume while making music?
I don't really...
Or do you do both at the same time?
I don't really do both at the same time. I just drink a lot of coffee and LaCroix at the moment. I'm like a LaCroix addict. Maybe kombucha. But generally, if I start like eating pizza or whatever in the studio, I start feeling gross and don't want to do anything anymore. So try and keep it light if I've got to eat while I'm working.
Yeah, there's a separation there. I wasn't planning on asking this one, but now I have to. What's your LaCroix flavor of choice?
Pamplemousse.
A classic. A man of taste.
LaCroix is so stupid. It literally tastes like sparkling water that's been left by a fruit for a day. Like, this.
Yeah. I heard it described as like you're drinking sparkling water, but somebody in the other room yells like, grapefruit.
Yeah.
Another listener question for you. You've played many small concerts, many medium concerts, and you've also played giant arenas. Of those, do you have a favorite kind of show to
Giant arenas. And not because of any other reason, but the smaller the show, the more nerve-wracking it is. Like the first the only US tour I did with Love, Fame, Tragedy was like, 200, 300 cap rooms, and when they're that small, you can see everyone's facial expressions. It's like, oh, fuck, they like that song more than this one. And I start kind of reading into it a lot more. And then I start getting in my own head. And then, whereas like big festivals or arenas, everyone is just like this, it's just a sea of energy, like it's a sea of people. So yeah, I don't overthink anything in those kind of scenarios.
That makes a lot of sense. That's interesting to hear. I want to test your geography skills here a bit as we move forward. Since you're living in LA, so I like to ask everybody this: what is the prettiest American state in terms of geographical outline alone? But since you're from Liverpool, I want to open this up a little bit and include counties of England as well. You can choose one of those if you prefer.
In terms of how pretty they are, just the county lines.
What has the best shape? Yeah.
Well, not Merseyside. I think maybe would it be Burt? No, I can't even.
We've got some answers coming through in the chat. North Yorkshire and Essex.
Not Essex. No, I was thinking about like the rump of England because it's kind of a nice, like, it's like a nice hour, like a nice curvy hourglass figure, but I can't remember what county that would be now. So I'll just say the rump.
Okay, yeah, thick one. All right, and the last question to send you off on that I also like to ask everybody that comes through. It's the age-old question of, if you had to, would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Probably 1 horse-sized duck.
Just one fight, get it out of the way.
Yeah, because 100 of the little bastards would probably be able to do a lot more damage than 1 big, slow one. I don't know what weapons I have or if I have any, but I feel like I could get round its legs with like a piece of string and top it over and kill it that way.
That's smart. It's a wise and courageous answer from Murph. Love, Fame, Tragedy. Thank you so much again. We'll have you play another one and then cut you loose.
Thanks
That's
so much.
right.
Thanks for having me. Have a lovely day, everyone. This song called Backflip. Lately, I've been emotionally offline, turning crazy. I can feel it in my spine, been thinking about us all the time. Been thinking about us, are we going blind? You only want me when I'm stuck in your head and you're playing the victim again when you're wasted and you're shattering to bits. I only want you when I'm lonely as hell and I'm faded in a cheap hotel. It's worth it to break our necks for this. We're a poorly timed backflip. Control it. It's just another moment in time. Don't be impulsive. Don't let it pulsate through your mind. Been thinking about us all the time. Been thinking about us. Are we going blind? You only want me when I'm stuck in your head and you're playing the victim again when you're wasted and you're shattering to bits. I only want you when I'm lonely as hell and I'm faded in a cheap hotel. Is it worth it to break our necks for this? We're a poorly timed backflip. We're a poorly timed backflip. You only want me when I'm stuck in your head and you're playing the victim again when you're wasted, you're shattering to bits. I only want you when I'm lonely as hell and I'm faded. If the photos are worth it to break our necks for this, we're a poorly timed backflip. We're a poorly timed backflip. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thanks
again.
so much.
Love, Fame, Tragedy.
And I lied to you because this is a berry one.
Ooh.
So
That's
sorry
good
about
too.
that.
That one's a little stronger, I think. I don't know. I have to do a taste test. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. Thanks for taking the time. Looking forward to the new music that's coming out, and we hope to see you in Columbus soon.
Yeah, hopefully that's soon. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.